Greetings, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another week in what I'm calling the Mindful March. Last week, you marched to a higher spiritual ground, turning your back on the karma you were born to and marching toward the story you were born to live. This week, God Universe is raising the bar on what's possible. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a galactic way to start your day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Christopher Witecki. Welcome back, my friend. Namaste. This month, I'm coining it a Mindful March, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, we're going to completely rethink the way we do things when Mercury goes retrograde on March 23rd. But second, each day of this month is a mindful march out of the karma you were born to and toward your destiny, otherwise known by me as the story you were born to live. Last week, it was literally ascending out of the chaos, so day by day, you probably had to pull yourself up just a little bit higher. This week, we are going to have a new moon and a conjunction to Chiron that, in my opinion, is going to heal the potential for your destiny, raising the bar, literally. So in this week's show, I'm going to talk you through each day, each step leading up to the new moon. And later in our tea time, I'm going to talk about how this is not just a new moon, this is a new destiny. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is from Monday, March 12th to Friday, March 16th, 2018. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Looking at the week at a glance, it's mostly sunny with a holy day on Thursday. Let's take a look. On Monday, it's sunny and electric. Step 22 rules the day, raising you to a new dimension, and Saturn goes to step 8. On Tuesday, it's sunny and seeking, as step 23 rules the day, and a moon in Aquarius asks, "Where am I going anyway?" On Wednesday, it's sunny and peaceful. You're ready to accept and receive your new fate that is in the works. On Thursday, it's cloudy and super holy. That's because Grandmaster Step 25 Pisces rules the day, and Black Lilith at Step 14 indicates change. And then Friday, it's sunny and certain. Step 26 rules the day, calling in for a commitment, and in 24 hours, a new moon. Well, looking at the week ahead, it's going to be intense because each day we go up a full dimensional shift. So in our next segment, I'm going to walk you through the week and prep you for the new moon. Taking a sneak peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week, Raising the Healing Potential. Now, we are in what I call a mindful march. We are marching toward our spiritual destiny. So far, it's been very turbulent, I have to say. In the first 2 decans of Pisces, we were shedding away our old karma. That was tough because I think we got triggered on all of our old karmic vices there in the beginning. At least I did. Like, the universe was like saying to me over and over, "Are you sure you don't want to fall back into this trap? Are you sure you don't want to fall back into that trap?" And I was just kept moving, kept marching. Last week, we had to climb from that point to a higher ground. So that was a bit of a struggle too. Each day you have to kind of try a little harder than the day before. It's kind of like doing spiritual push-ups. This week, however, we are ready to coast into our destiny. But what's fascinating to me is looking at the planets, it appears that the universe is going to raise the bar on our healing potential. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you had a rotten childhood, like most of us, you know what I mean? Like, and you grew up fighting and striving in your 20s and working hard in your 30s, and somewhere around like maybe 38, you started to say, you know what, maybe I'm not going to get where I thought I was when I was 20. Maybe I'm not going to end up writing that book. Maybe I'm not. And we started to kind of like give up on our potential, or we lowered the bar, basically. And I think we lowered the bar because we had all that heavy karmic baggage on our feet. And it was heavy, and we were just being realistic, right? Like, at least I was. But we have been reducing that weight. We've been taking off that spiritual fat. We've been letting go of those karmic vibrations. And little did we know that the ceiling would then raise. Our potential to heal our life and heal our potential is at a max this week, and that's because we have a new moon that conjoins Chiron. Now, Chiron is the healing planet. In my opinion, it's a comet asteroid. I believe it rules Virgo. I believe it rules reality. It's kind of like the final weaver of reality and consciousness happens in Virgo. And this is why Virgos are so hyper-aware of everything. They technically rule reality. So when Chiron is in a particular sign, it means our reality is being rewoven. It's being recreated and therefore healed and therefore taken into its potential integrity. Well, Chiron has been in Pisces this entire time. In fact, Chiron has been weaving forward for a long time. She is now at step 28 this week of Pisces. Step 28 is I manifest, which means that Chiron is ready to kind of pull the spiritual reins and pull the entire magic carpet that we've been building this whole time all together into a form. We're now ready to see the big spiritual picture of what Chiron has been weaving together literally for years. And whatever this big spiritual picture is, it's the highest Chiron has been so far in a long time for us, except people born 50 years ago with Chiron and Pisces. So it's been 50 years basically since Chiron has been at this place. And at this moment, the high mark of this is the big spiritual picture, we have a new moon at step 26 that conjoins it, which basically means on Saturday we have a new moon that says, I'm getting spiritually married to this high vision. So I believe this is a powerful time. I've said it all this month long that this is one of the most incredible planetary conditions I have witnessed in my lifetime. And I believe that this week what we're going to do is, as we move into the step 20s, which are the passionate step numbers, the passionate degrees, we have a capability for moving a lot faster. We also have a capability for letting things go. And the cool thing about the 20 degrees is they're all ruled by emotion. And it's usually our mind that limits us. In fact, that is the limiting part of consciousness. Basically the microscope or the magnifying glass of our human consciousness is our mind. And that's why it's not smart to look everything through the mind, because it makes everything small seem too big. It also makes things seem too finite. When the week takes off as an emotional week, you're going to be able to feel around what your mind can't see. You're going to feel the potential of your future, and what you feel and what you sense is what is true. Now that's mostly because the sun is in Pisces, which is our spiritual energy and our psychic energy. So you could say this time of year is the most psychic time of the entire year. Technically, the Christians should have put Easter in Pisces. Just saying. Okay. Now, that said, this is going to be a powerful week. There's a lot of planetary collusion going on, to borrow a popular term right now. One is Jupiter. Jupiter has now retrograded at step 23. Step 23 is the mastermind step, and Jupiter actually retrograded at the end of last week, but we're going to really start to feel it now because Jupiter was building new boundary awareness, telling us for 6 months that we need to put new boundaries in all these places. Now that Jupiter has retrograded, it means that we're going to get tested on these boundaries and whether or not they work. So it's imperative that you hold true to what you have learned about certain boundaries. The next fascinating thing is Saturn moves to step 8 on Monday. Step 8 is the step number of Saturn. And Saturn is in Capricorn, which is also an 8. So you could kind of say that as of Monday, we're in an 8 by 8 by 8 consciousness, which means that we are going to be committing. Don't forget 8 is also infinity on the side. No coincidence there. We're going to be committing to our infinity, and this commitment is in 3 dimensions, represented by Saturn at step 8 in Capricorn. Pretty powerful stuff. Another interesting thing is old Black Lilith. This week, Black Lilith moves to step 14. Now, she's been at step 13 for quite a while, which means we are facing fears about our dimensional shift. So all of us felt a change coming, and if you had any fears around your change, you had to kind of face those fears. Whenever Black Lilith switches step numbers, this is one of my Witecki secrets, I know the rest of the consciousness is changing, because if what people fear changes, then that must be because something changed, right? So Black Lilith moves to step 14 on Holy Thursday of this week, which tells me that we now fear accepting the change. That's what step 14 is. So we know we have the change, we have received the change, we know what it is, and now we're afraid, can we accept this? Is this actually something I can do? And you can kind of liken this as, you know, Moses or any other, biblical person who at one point talks to God, and then after they come off the mountain or whatever, it's like, can I really do this? You know what I mean? Like, is that possible? And I kind of think a lot of us are going to feel that way this week. And then the last exciting thing, on top of all of this, is that Mars is in Sagittarius. And Mars connects to the galactic center on Monday. So Mars conjoins the galactic center. And in the most basic way of saying things, that means it's go time with the story you were born to live, galactic center. So there's my evidence. We have profound change, and we are raising the bar on what our potential is. So let me walk you through the week real quickly so you get an idea of how this is all going to build up to a new moon that happens on Saturday. On Monday, I said it's sunny and super electric, and boy is it. Step 22 ends up ruling the day. Mercury's at step 9, which means it's go time. That's a Grandmaster step of Aries. Venus is at step 7 Aries, which means opening up to change. The Sun is starting to conjoin Chiron, and Mars is on the galactic center. So just the fact that Mars is on the galactic center the same day as a step 22 day, that tells me we are going up, we are ascending. So Monday will probably feel a little out of this world, interdimensional, very strange. And you may experience ascension symptoms, which means you might be tired or have a hard time like feeling yourself or getting to your core motives. And that's because the essence of you, the soul, is changing. So everything from the soul outward is going to feel a little off. Tuesday, sunny and seeking. Step 23 rules the day, and that's the day on Tuesday where we're kind of like, what the hell was Monday about? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell did I just go through? And we're trying to get our mind around things, and the moon is still in Aquarius, and what we're getting our mind around is the big picture of what our destiny is. I also think on Tuesday we begin to realize, hey, maybe I can write that book. Maybe I can do those things I envisioned in my 20s. Maybe I was just down on my luck or going through a hard time. So I think Tuesday we kind of change our mind about our potential. Wednesday, sunny and super peaceful. So Wednesday's about accepting this truth. So this is kind of like when I said, Moses comes down off the mountain and is like, oh my God, I'm working for God. This is heavy. You know what I mean? Like, so on Wednesday, we kind of accept and receive that this is true. Mars has moved off the galactic center and is at step 28, which means we're not going forward with our mission. We are manifesting it. We are stamping it. We are putting our signature on the dotted line. Then Thursday, this is probably the most spiritual day of the year. Okay, step 25, Pisces, rules the day. We open to step 24, but it's a very spiritual day. It's a very holy day. That's because step 25 is the highest 7, and that's the highest 7 in Pisces, the sign of 7. So we have a 7-7 here, okay? And it's not the alcohol beverage, okay? But this is a time, although some may go there because it's the Sun and Neptune and whatnot, but this is the time really where I think, you know, again, to use the biblical reference, this would be like going back into prayer and making sure with your guides that this is your spiritual mission, that you feel this is the way things should go. And people may be doing this when it comes to a relationship or a job or relocating. So you may have a very earthly concern that you're taking to your guides, but still it represents a bigger change in your essence, whether you're paying attention or not. Then Friday, step 26 rules the day, and that's the day where you will finally be certain. In fact, I say sunny and certain. The moon has now moved to the second decan of Pisces, and we're on our way now to a new moon. Interesting, like I said, Black Lilith on the holy day changes to 14, so from Thursday to Friday, things must change because now you're facing any fears about acceptance. And then as we go into the weekend, we have the new moon on Saturday, which is the big pronounced commitment to your destiny, to your holy calling, to what you feel your sole purpose and mission is. And then Sunday, the day after, we have LoveFest Day. So we have basically an inner festival of joy and love that we're on the right path. Now, that said, with all that in the week, it really all heads up to this new moon. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is New Moon, New Destiny. I think this is a powerful new moon. Powerful. Powerful in the most quiet, subtle way. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. We're in Pisces right now. So do not be looking for tons of crazy physical evidence that change is happening in your life. We're changing the essence of who we are. It's very quiet. It's very subtle. It almost takes a trained eye to see the coincidences and see what's changing underneath the seams. People who are totally asleep and locked in fear in their head all the time probably will not see that their spirit is changing this week. It'll take a while for them to see, and they'll see it because their essence will create new behavior in Aries, their essence will create new manifestations in Taurus, and then we'll start to see the change. I think it's really just light walkers that are going to probably see people who are connected to their spirit and trying to always evolve higher. I think if you look carefully, you will see crazy little symbolic coincidences this week that show you, oh my gosh, it really looks like life is changing. It's almost like foreshadow. And you may look at your life like a movie this week. That's my best favorite fun way to do it is when I see fate taking over, I just get some popcorn and start watching. And life becomes fun, and that's what life's about, is about being present to who we are. So this is an excellent week. My first bit of advice, to just show up. Show up like you were going on stage as an actor or an actress, except you're going on stage in your life, in your story. And respond with the best lines. Respond with the funniest lines. Always take it higher. Always make it lighter. Always try to be more enjoyable in your moment. And I think if you do that, you will surf the waves of higher spirituality and you will raise your potential. I believe this week will set a new destiny for a lot of people. In other words, theoretically, a person could have sloughed off and done nothing this entire time, then show up this week and play it right and graduate. Okay? And those people piss us all off because they always get away with stuff. So yes, Ferris Bueller could just show up and graduate this week. And that is really a good thing if you think about it, because you can put down any self-doubt, self-criticism, judge, blame. It doesn't matter. You can't take your records to the next dimension of spirituality. These report cards stay here, and you have new report cards. So you just have to do well for this week, in my opinion. And what does that mean? Always take it higher. Higher joy, higher happiness, more jokes, okay, more quirkiness. That is really what the kingdom of heaven is about. It's a blast up there. It's totally fun and laughter all the time. So we want to make it heaven on earth. We want to channel that vibration this week. Now, that said, that's it if you want to go to the next dimension. If you want to repeat this one, go right ahead, but I hate sequels. This week, we have a powerful new moon on Saturday. It's at step 26 Pisces, which is I commit. So any new moon matched with a commitment means this commitment is going to stick. Some people will be consciously creating this commitment. Some people will be responding from things such as politics or something else. They're responding to the way the world is. And from that response, they're still making a commitment. But I believe everyone is going to make a commitment. As I mentioned in the prior segment, the Sun conjoins Chiron at step 28. Step 28 Chiron means manifesting healing. Chiron at 28 in Pisces means manifesting spiritual healing. That to me is the agent that is going to raise the vibration and raise your potential to begin with. At that time of the new moon, Venus is at step 13, Aries. Step 13 is a radical number. Aries is ego. So what this means is at the new moon, you're opening up to an ego transformation, which of course is necessary. If you're going to change your essence, you got to change your ego. That's like if you're going to change your football team, you got to change your uniform. Okay, so Venus at step 13 says we're going to have to change the way we do things because of this new moon. Mercury's at step 14, which is a grandmaster step of Mercury. It nets to a 5. And what that means is we're going to change our mind about what we have to do. So this is going to lead up probably to a change of game plan. So go ahead and make your plans for the rest of your life this week, but plan that they might change. All right? They might change. Mars is at step 29, Sagittarius. That is the final grandmaster step of the story you were born to live, and that's the degree which nets to an 11, which is the ruler of Chiron, blah, 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 okay, which means that the story we were born to live is threaded into this step 26 commitment in Pisces. Black Lilith, like I said, is at step 14, and so is Mercury, don't forget. So Mercury at 14 means we're going to think differently about everything. Black Lilith at 14 says you're going to face your fears about thinking differently about everything. And the North Node is at step 14, Leo direct, which means your heart is going to aim for something different. And they're all netting to a 5, which tells me that it's a big mind change. I think this commitment this weekend is why we have a Mercury retrograde on March 23rd, because we change our mind this weekend, and then once we change our mind, we're like, oh shoot, I have to think through everything again. I got to rethink all my plans. I got to think what I'm going to wear. I'm going to think. You just have to rethink through everything, and that's what that Mercury retrograde is going to be. And then on top of all of this, Jupiter is retrograde at step 23, which means this commitment that you are making to your destiny, your new destiny, this commitment requires that you mastermind your boundaries. And Jupiter has retrograded, which means Jupiter has already given you your instruction, now go. All right, so the universe is saying it's time. In a way, it's a test, and it is a test of boundaries. In fact, it will be a test of boundaries the entire time Jupiter is retrograde, which means from March 8th to July 10th, you will be tested on these boundaries. Tested means Jupiter's not going to tell you the right way to go. You need to remember from class, okay, which was Jupiter direct in the last 6 months. So this all adds up, in my opinion, to a new destiny. And because Jupiter's retrograde in Scorpio, our boundaries are very fragile, which means we could make or break this at any moment from a boundary infringement. So this is a time to be focused on where the line is. So I'm going to walk you through, for all 12 signs, where this new moon commitment is, first of all, where you're making this grand commitment, and secondly, what Jupiter retrograde means. The retrograde means that you are basically reinventing a process. And the reason why you're going to reinvent it is because now that you're being tested on your boundaries, as Jupiter retrogrades, you're going to find yourself making adjustments, okay? Because it's the second pass over the consciousness. So on the second pass, we're like, you know, now that I think about it, the boundary should be here, and it should be here. So people will be changing boundaries. It's not about staying stuck to the ones you had. It's about staying stuck to the concept of needing boundaries and where they must be drawn. And as always, I will put up a little graphic here on this side of the screen that tells you what sign I'm working on. So in case this long show is too long for you, you can fast forward to yours or your friends and family. Aries. Aries are making a grand master commitment to their spiritual calling. So, as I said earlier, a lot of people maybe lowered the bar. I think because Aries are ego-driven, they probably lowered their bar a long time ago too and started to give up on certain things, kind of Aries behavior. But I believe you will feel this new spiritual calling and you'll realize that it's higher than you thought, much higher than you thought. And the Jupiter retrograde means you're going to have to reinvent all of your boundaries from top to bottom, Aries. So you have to look at all of them again and reinvent exactly where they should be placed based on the fact that you now have this new spiritual mission or new spiritual calling. So I'm predicting Aries might have like a crying Jesus statue or some sort of major, like leading up this week, or a crazy dream or a visitation by an angel. Like you're really set up for it and it's not a dream. Witecki said so. Taurus. Taurus is now making a new commitment to a higher social calling. And I can totally talk about this myself. I had high social ambition once upon a time. Then I got kicked down to the ground. And the universe said, go back in your place, boy. And I did. And now I'm like, you know what? Now that I've discovered the consciousness of the angels and spirit, maybe I can help the world. Maybe I can be there. So Tauruses are now healing a new social calling, and they have a higher spiritual social calling now. Now, the retrograde means because of this higher calling, Tauruses will be rethinking all their boundaries with all their relationships. So a lot of Tauruses were involved in relationships because they were not seeking the highest in themselves, and so they were tolerating things that weren't as high in relationships. So you're going to see Tauruses changing their boundaries and backpedaling on relationship commitments until July. And if that's the case, the Taurus is meant to move on without you. By the way, if a Taurus ends up cutting someone off, that's just the way it's going to be. But new people come in too. I'm not trying to say, that's not an official warning to all my friends. I'm just saying. Gemini. Gemini is going to be a new moon commitment to a career and legacy calling. So I think Geminis are going to realize what they want to be when they grow up. I think they're going to be like, this is what I want to be. This is where I want to be. And you may have an experience that literally shows you, like you go to a show or you do something. And what you're going to be reinventing then is your daily lifestyle. So because of your new career calling, how you live day to day is going to have to change. That might be where you live. That might be how you work, where you work, your commute to work. And it's very likely it could be your health issues or things with the body. Cancers. Cancers are going to receive a new life purpose calling. So Cancers are going to realize, kind of like Geminis, that they were born for this. Okay, so they're going to figure out what they were born for, and they're going to believe. So for them, it's kind of a new religion, or a new me-ligion, as I like to call it. They will be adopting a new me-ligion. And what they're going to have to recreate are the boundaries around love, because I think this is part of their their life purpose calling, is that it's something that they love. And this is going to change all the boundaries about what's possible with love. So Cancers are going to go through a lot of love boundary changes between now and July 10th. Leos. Leos are going to commit to transforming. So Leos are the big actors, the big performers, the big showmen, if you will. And what they're committing to is a change of costume. They're like, you know what? This costume isn't working. This behavior isn't working. This kind of thing isn't working. So you're going to see Leos kind of go backstage, and they're going to be changing their clothes, changing a lot of personal boundaries. They're going to let some things in. They're going to move some things out. And when they come out, they're going to look totally different. So Leos are going through a transformation. And a lot of this involves spirituality and taking things higher. What they're going to reinvent is what gives them emotional security. So I'm assuming that their old way was making them feel emotionally secure for so long, and then it stopped. And so they've probably been feeling not secure in the old way. So the universe is saying, okay, you want to feel secure? Change, and you have to change how you emotionally treat yourself. So they're getting a new home family and a new shape. Virgos. Virgos are committing to self-mastery. So Virgos are perfectionists. They know exactly what it takes to fix and do the job. Only problem is they haven't done it. Okay, like they know what it takes, but they haven't done it. They know what being a master involves, but they haven't done it. And so I think Virgos are going to commit to mastering, becoming like a master violinist, like a master at what they do. And so this commitment also goes along with reinventing their thinking. So they're going to change what they think about, what they don't think about, what they talk about, what they don't talk about. All these things will be changed. And that's because a Virgo runs all those analytics through their Scorpio mind. Libra. Libras are committing to a new lifestyle. This lifestyle is one that is balanced, peaceful, beautiful, joyful. It's funny, Libras have always spent so much time helping other people come into these beautiful lifestyles, and they have been left out in the harsh cold. Well, now it's time to transform their life to this new beauty and tranquility, and this likely involves incorporating spirit, not just their thoughts, into their life. Now, that said, they're going to reinvent their self-confidence. Okay, so turns out a lot of their self-confidence issues or money issues, same thing, came from the fact that they lived in hell. Okay, so you live in hell, you start to feel kind of poor. you know? So they are going to end up changing why they feel valuable and whatnot till July 10th, excuse me. And this is from their commitment to a higher, more peaceful life. Scorpios. Scorpios are committing to a personal dream. And this has been exciting to watch because I have seen a sparkle come back in my Scorpio friends' eyes. I have not seen that sparkle since I was young. But I have seen Scorpios sparkling in their eyes because they are starting to get the dream again. And the thing is they're very much like me. Once they get it, they're going to obsess and just go for it like a soldier. So they're committing to something their heart truly wants. And you haven't seen Scorpios like this since the Crusades. Okay, like it's been a long time because they've been damaged. So they're going to make this higher commitment. And this will involve them reinventing their behavior. So between now and July, they're going to completely reinvent their behavior, where the lines are drawn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that goes so that they can follow the dream. Sagittariuses. Sagittariuses are committing to a new emotional foundation, which is gigantic because if you know Sagittarius, they're always on the go, they're always traveling, they're always doing things, right? They're never grounded. They're never at home enough, right? Every Sag teenager I know is never home, right? So they're learning how to create their own home. Imagine what that does to a Sagittarius when they are well-fed and grounded. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to watch these people. Now what they're going to do by grounding themselves with this new spiritual home, basically home base, is that they're going to reinvent their inner faith. Turns out that they were lacking faith because they weren't home, because they weren't grounding, because they didn't have a good nurturing policy for their emotions. They were just dealing with what is, and they get off on the thrill of new, but they never learned how to nurture through it. So Sages committing to a new emotional foundation, reinventing faith. Capricorns. Capricorns are committing to a new plan. And you may go, oh, what else is new? No, no, no. This is a plan that includes compassion. This is a plan that includes their inner spirit. This is a plan. This is basically, if you want to know the truth, Capricorn is business. You could think of them as big business. So big business is basically incorporating the spirit of people into it. Can you imagine the change if Starbucks cared about your spirit? Okay, well, it's going to happen at the grainier level first, which is in each individual Capricorn will decide to surrender to this new compassionate idea, compassionate plan. And this compassion plan is going to force them to completely reinvent their social public reputation. So they're going to end up going through a marketing makeover between now and July 10th as a result of having a new compassion plan. That's the Cappies. Aquarius. Aquariuses are doing something exciting because they are going to commit to manifesting something, which is amazing if you think about it, because Aquariuses are kind of the person at the party who's always showing you and telling you what's not right. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that could be better, that could be better, that could be better. And a lot of us, I don't know if you're the same way, have thought to the Aquarius, well, if you can do better, go do it. You know what I mean? And the universe is basically saying, go do it. So Aquariuses are going to surrender to a plan, a manifestation. This, you could say, is an age of Aquarius manifestation, because it is. This is probably the first seed of the age of Aquarius, are the Aquariuses coming up with something they want to create. Now, for them to manifest this, it means they will reinvent their career path. Makes total sense, right? So between now and July 10th, they're going to come up with totally new decisions about what to do with their career and future, because now they're going to have a heartfelt interest in a spiritual, divine manifestation. That's the one thing I should say. It's divine. It suits the greater good of the entire Milky Way. And then finally, but not last but not least, I should say, you are last, Pisces, is Pisces. Pisces is committing to a new character. So I want to say, find your local Pisces, give him a big kiss and a hug, because you might not see him in a couple of weeks. Right? Like, the fish is changing fish bowls. The fish is now going to a bigger fish. You could say the fish are becoming bigger fish. Bigger spiritually, bigger with character, bigger with power. And the old fish has fallen. Harvey Weinstein, by the way, was a master Pisces abusing his power. So The old Pisces of power have fallen if they were not in grace, and the new Pisces are rising to take over. What this will require is them reinventing their life purpose and their life mission. So Pisces, because they're becoming the newest and greatest goldfish they've ever been, all right, they are going to, as a result, have to come up with their gospel. Basically, they're going to come up with a new religion of what this all means, this new them. So they're basically coming up with a, what do you call it, a manifesto and a new character all in one. So, as you can hear, this is a powerful week. It has me excited if you can't tell, because I haven't seen the planets as positive since I started doing this, honestly. Positive in the sense of going right. And if you go to yourself and say, Witecki, I look outside my window and everything is going wrong. And I'm like, right! Because that's the way it works. When people make inner change, it's because the outer is about to change. Because it always goes from the inner to the outer. The inner is changing, which means the outer is right around the corner. Now, I have a couple of announcements for you. First of all, I don't even know how this happened, but we are having our first Oneness.care LoveFest Day on the actual LoveFest Day. I swear to Goddess, I did not plan it that way. When I looked at the planets and saw that it was LoveFest Day on my first LoveFest Day, I had a LoveFest right with myself. And I'm really, you know, we are calling to everyone in the Denver area, come on down, it's a LoveFest. We need to come together. We're going to be helping you with your body, giving you some tools to help realign your body. I'm going to go up and do some talk on the 7 steps to inner peace. And we have another fascinating person who's going to help you find your inner bliss. He has what's called the bliss technique. It will be at 1 p.m. here in Denver, Colorado. Yes, it will be simulcast to our Namaste Today club. So if you want to watch, come to Namaste Today. We're asking for donations at the door, but it's just a donation. So if you don't have it, don't have to give it. Abundance is coming if you show up, because we're going to be helping people with abundance. And this will be on March 18th, LoveFest Day, 1 p.m., Oneness.care. You can check out their website, Oneness.care, for more information. Then secondly, Serious Joy. We have a new Serious Joy. It is constantly being reinvented. I am constantly adding new content. And this week, I have been doing these cool tea time segments that all kind of stream together. In fact, that's what I want to tell you. If you subscribe to my personal Sensei service, you may not know this, but I have an original video on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that go deeper into the life coaching. This is what I used to give away for free, but now it's only for the members who are serious about their joy. You can try it for just $3.99 for the first month, cancel it anytime, and the subscription still goes to the end of the month after you cancel. For more information, visit SeriousJoy.com. And then finally, a humble invitation to our home on the web, NamasteToday.club. This is a Facebook club, and we will be having this week a Friday Live. So I'm going to do a Friday Live talking very much about the LoveFest Day and the Oneness Care movement. And my guest will be Julie Day, who has just launched a whole new network of practitioners called Practical Mystics. I don't know if you ever seen me and Julie together, but we shine. We're a couple of suns on camera. So that will be streaming live on Friday of this week. And if you'd like to watch it, come become a member at the lightest club on the internet, NamasteToday.club. All right, friend. Well, that's all I have. I know it's a lot, isn't it? Well, hey, the universe is changing. I'll be back in 7 days with more. Be sure to check out my Friday Live. Be sure to watch our Oneness Day celebration. And until next time, remember I love you, and to live, love, be.
It's serious joy, joy, joy.